Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? I hope everyone's fine. So today we I was supposed to be alone here, but my friends from Argentina, they are coming back to the hotel because their flight was canceled. Um, so they will leave in 2 days. Uh, so, yep, that's how it is. So, this change that just happened brings us to the topic for today, which is adaptation. So, we have to adapt to all the changes. So, these past 2 weeks, we have been doing a path called Fezur with 72 people. Fezur means the snake of light. And along this path, we've been living many things, many really deep things that are really difficult to share, to say, to express what they are, what they really, what really happens, because some of the things you have to live them in order to understand them. Otherwise, me explaining that here is really weird and maybe it's not going to the point. So that's why I will try to take a time to process, to understand what it is, what it means, and try to share with you at least the channelings that have happened and that I have to process by myself. Okay, of course. So I need to process that first. So if you see my face like tired today, is normal because I couldn't sleep tonight. It was terrible for me because yesterday we had 2 days ago we had a meeting and we were under the sun, and I was giving my back to the sun all the time for 2 hours, and I forgot. So I got an allergy to the sun. Never happened to me before. And I couldn't sleep because something was happening in my back, like itchy, and it wasn't. It was impossible to stand it. And then, of course, got well, but today we have been doing luggage and all the things, so that's why I didn't sleep much, and that's why my face. So let's go to this. So remember this. Adaptability. To adapt. To adapt comes from the words ad, that means to, towards, to go to. Apt, that means to reach, to take something. And ability, that means the inner capacity to do something. So adaptability would be the inner capacity that someone has to move forward to reach something. And of course, we have the opposite of this adaptability, which is expectation. And expectation would be like the passive aspect action of the self, the passive, and this one is the active. Active here and passive here. So expectation comes from X, that means out, to go out. Spectare, that means to watch, to observe, or wait for something. And of course, tion, expectation, that means the action of something. So adaptability, the concept for today, is the capacity that someone has to reach something beyond, to go and look for something ahead. So basically, we as humans are the result of adaptation. Why we have to adapt? Because adaptation is kind of the main key for evolution. We need to adapt, so we will know why. So from where adaptation is the basics of evolution, we have to go to the very beginning to understand this, when we were just simple cells. And for sure you have heard this concept that we have to adapt to our environment. And this is the key of everything. And to understand why we have to adapt to the environment, we have to remember that the environment is in constant change. Everything is changing all the time. So we need to adapt to the constant change. It changed by weather, temperature, the shapes of the mountain, the rivers, all the things change. And because the environment is changing constantly, one of the things that happen is that the sources of energy that we need, they also move, they also change. So remember the three main needs that a cell has, which is to feel safe, to eat, and to reproduce. So through these three needs, we can understand that a cell needs to follow, to go towards something that needs to catch in order to have the main needs. And that's the word adaptation. To adapt to something, you have to move forward and to take what you need from that other reality, from that other environment, in order to survive. So if that other environment is different, you have to change yourself also into that reality. So by nature, we are adaptable. We adapt to everything all the time. But eventually, our societies has left adaptation aside, and as a cultural beings, we started to live through expectations. So let's try to understand why we started to live through expectations and not through adaptation. So in the very beginning, we were herds. We were living in tiny families, and these tiny herds were looking for food, and each one of the people that were part of the family, they were in charge of reaching for something that helps the group to survive with their basic needs. So what they started to do was to organize themselves and to live in tiny herds. But eventually, they started to grow as a group. So we spoke about this a few months ago. So they started to grow. They started to create big herds, a culture. So they all were sharing many things all together. So eventually emerges something that in Latin they call pater familias. Pater familias literally means the Lord of those who are in hunger. Pater familias, which is the family dad, basically. Okay, the family dad, the father of the family. So the words father, family means the Lord, the one that rules on those who are hungry. So when everyone gives the power to these paterfamilias, the society starts to organize in a very different way, in which instead of being the individuals trying to solve the problems of everyone, they rely the power in someone that can represent them. So when they started to be represented by someone, this someone is saying to everybody, I will take care of this, I will be in charge, so you just have to wait for me to solve the problem. So when this power starts to rely in only the paterfamilias and other people around, eventually they say to the people to wait for them to solve the problem. And in that case, what happened is that the people becomes the ones that expect, the ones that wait for someone to solve the problem. So when this system starts to get structure, most of the people lose the ability to solve their own problems, and they start to choose people to solve them for them. And in this relationship, the people starts to stare, to watch those people that were chosen. So they expect for them to solve it. Expectators, the ones that expect. So when someone loses the inner power to solve its own life, becomes a person that lives through expectations. So how can we understand a person that lives through expectations? Is the person that doesn't set any energy or doesn't do anything and just wait, expect for someone to solve their problems or for something to happen to solve their problems. So coming back to the idea of the families, when we were just tiny families and herds around the planet, we had to move forward if we wanted to survive. If we were willing to find food, we have to walk, we have to look for something in the horizon, we have to reach something. So that's why if there is a desert, you have to go through the desert to find water. So that created the nomads. And the nomads, they were going through the desert and trying to find it until they found the place like with water and food and everything in order to make their own life. So that's adaptation, because you are adapt to the desert, to move through the desert in order to find something. That would be adaptation. You are moving forward to find something ahead. But when these families stop looking and they just stand in one of the places as one of the other persons walked through the desert to find the well of water, when they came back, they said, oh, I found the most beautiful place with water, with trees and so on. So people starts to do an image through imagination. They create an image of the place like a paradise. So they say, oh, when we reach there, it would be so amazing and so beautiful and blah, 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 all that. And eventually they become spectators. They are expecting for someone to solve their problems. So when they all follow that person to the well of water, they reach and they say, "Oh, it's just a hole in the ground. It's not that much. It's not that woes." So the expectation breaks down. So it's like you lose the expectation. You were putting expectation in something that was not really as you imagined that, because you didn't do anything to solve it. So you were waiting for something greater because you imagined much more than what it is. But for the person that went through the desert to find the well was everything. It was not just a hole. Okay? So expectation is not related at all with reality. Expectation is just someone that sits down and starts to think and imagine about a result, which is not related at all with the reality. The expectation set ourselves into a position of observers, watchers, and adaptability put us on a place of creators to do our own things. So eventually, when the people are in the looking for something, looking for the well, here comes religion. Why religion? Because religion means to religare. That means to tie the things all together. That's what it means, religion. Is to tie things together. So they tie all the people together in order to find a spot, in order to find something in front. So that's why all the people together in our religion, they go to find something, but they don't follow their own heart. They follow someone. So that's why they have expectations into something, because it's not their own reach. It's an expectation about something in front. They are following someone that says where it is. There is no adaptability in religion because they are following precisely rules that you have to follow. That's why there is expectation, waiting for the paradise. So this, what we are doing here right now, this is a religion. This is basically a religion, because I am here explaining a philosophy, and most of the people put an expectation upon me to do something, how I'm going to do it, how is it supposed to be done, and all these kind of things. So of course this could be a religion. So some people put expectation, not all of them, but I just wanted to say this because the question would be, what would happen if I disappear tomorrow, if I don't do this anymore? What all the people would do? Would you follow your own path, take what you need from me, and do your thing? Or you won't know what to do if I don't say exactly what to do? So the other day I heard someone that told me that there was a group in Facebook that was debating if I was vegan or I was vegetarian or I eat some fish or whatever. So that's religion, because I don't care. You don't have to care about myself. It doesn't make a difference if I am vegan or vegetarian. I'm just a person. I can die tomorrow. So the important thing is that you can take whatever you need from me, what I'm explaining here, you take whatever you need from me, and then you do something with that. And that's it. That's the most important thing to do. Otherwise, there is expectation. So the problem when we start to be when we start to live through expectation is that everyone is waiting for the other one to solve every kind of clue, because there's no way to adapt. You don't find a way to adapt. So we have to see it in this way. For example, I said the other day to put a candle for the eclipse to make an alignment, to make the connection with the eclipse. Okay, so I say this like as a suggestion. Like, it would be nice if you put your a candle, and then come some questions from many people. The questions are: how should the candle be? Thick, small, tall? What happens if I have to be alone or outside and I cannot use the candle? What would happen when we do the activation? What would happen then? So all these kind of questions come that makes me understand that we are all living through expectations, because a lot of people are expecting for me to tell this is done like this or like that and like that. But the reality is that what I say always is a suggestion, because we have to learn to adapt. If you go outside, it doesn't matter if you have a candle or whatever. It could be a lighter. It doesn't matter. But you have to adapt. To adapt is to improvise. Because magic happens when you improvise, not when you have a list of things to do. Everything that I share, that I do, is kind of a line so you don't get lost, but then you have to improvise. And that you can only do by adaptation. If you follow exactly what I say, that's expectation. And then happens that when you are thinking about, oh, this will happen if I do this, and then it doesn't happen, you get mad, frustrated, maybe mad at me, and all these kind of things that happen because you were waiting for something different to happen that was only in your mind. So basically, when we speak about adaptation, is for you to learn how to flow. We need to open ourselves to listen many other people, because of course there are many other people that are there with a lot of knowledge of things that I have no idea of, and you have to open yourself to listen everyone and many others, and to learn from different point of views, and to take a lot of information from everywhere until you find your own. So it just it happens to me many times that the people that were some people that were closer to me, they were expecting for me to do what they thought that I was meant to do. Like, you have to do this, we have to do that. And I was not meant to do that now, but they were mad at me because I was not doing that. And I was like, why? If you want to do that, just do it yourself. If you know what you have to do, just do it. And some of them even used the idea that my guides told them, even people that I had no idea who they are, that my guides told them what I am doing wrong, so I have to do it better. And if you can listen and know what you have to do it. Don't expect for me to do something. Don't expect. Adaptation. Let's use the right meaning of adaptation. Move forward, take action. Whatever you feel you have to do it. Don't expect for another person to do it for you. So remember this, that every time that we set our expectations upon someone, we will get frustrated, for sure, because never reality matches exactly with what I have in my head. Never. Reality is always mutable. So adaptation. We have 4 types of adaptation in our life. So 4 types of adaptation. The first one is to the environment, because the environment is always changing. So we have to adapt to the environment. So the environment, the adaptation to the environment, is when the outside is forcing me to change, to adapt. And then we have the body, adaptation of the body, that is related to my own will to adapt to a new environment. So the first one here, the adaptation to the environment, for example, would be like you live in a country that has the 4 seasons, and winter comes, and I have to adapt to winter, because winter comes and we cannot force it. So we have to find some codes and to organize ourselves in order to survive. In the other hand, the adaptation of the body is related to myself deciding to go to a place of winter. So I have to force my own body to adapt to a mountain, to snow, or whatever. So this one, the environment, is from the outside modifying the within, and the body one is myself from the within trying to modify myself to adapt to something new. And of course, then we have emotion. The adaptation to the emotion is the ability to be flexible in adapting to relationships, to every bond and link that we have with others emotionally. And of course, the last one is the adaptation to the mind, which is to open yourself to new visions, to new possibilities, to new ideas that widens your world. So all this here, adaptation, all these concepts here, gives us something that we call integrity. Integrity is the ability to integrate all these concepts, to put all this together, to integrate the different points of view of mind, to open yourself to different emotions. So you are integrating many things. We have this whole vision of what integrity means, that sometimes we say a person has integrity when all the time that person and always every year has the same point of view and never changed, and that person is like has integrity because you can see that always is the same. And I'm so sorry, but a person that is always the same is not a person with integrity. A person that's all the time the same is just an old guy that has a tattoo in the face that says pattern. Okay, so that's not integrity. Integrity is when you are open and you adapt to everything. Basically, what we usually say is the opposite of integrity is the word hypocrite. What is a hypocrite? Hypo means under, and kritain means to discern. So what is a hypocrite? Is a person that in the ancient times was called an oracle. The oracle was the person that everyone wants to see, to ask about their dreams, about their future, about the things. So all these people, the hypocrite, the hypocrite, were the people that read the lines of the hands, that knew how to read the dreams, to take the information under the data, to discern what is under, to discern the information. So they would reading all the data and they would say the information that is hidden under something. That's why it was called hypocrite. Okay. So the hypocrite was the person that was able to put itself in the position of each one of the persons that they were speaking to, in their own thoughts, in their own emotions, so they could read and understand information inside, so they could teach them and explain to them. So eventually, a hypocrite also was the person that was able to set themselves in the emotions and mind and body of others. So that's why it is also another way to call the actors and actress in the Greek time. So the hypocrite was the person that was acting in a theater. So eventually, with the pass of time, there were some people, liars, that were trying to manipulate the people through the mind, through the emotion, and through the body. So they were using these kind of tools in order to manipulate the others, making them believe something that it was not. And that's why, in a negative way, we started to call them hypocrite people. And that's how it turns into something negative. Okay? Do you see how it turned into something wrong? Okay. So now imagine this. In our cultures today, when we say to adapt to something, we start to think that we have to change our point of views, because in order to adapt, you have to change your point of view, your own vision. And in our cultures, that's horrible, because we believe that integrity means to hold your own point of view during your whole life, all the time. And if you do the opposite, which is to adapt to a different point of view, you will become an hypocrite. Okay, so that's why we kind of deny adaptation to others' point of view, because we think that that's not integrity, that's hypocrite. This concept is the one that makes us be a little bit afraid of adapting to different point of view, because we believe that we will lose integrity if we change our point of view of something. So what I will ask for you here is to be a little bit more hypocrite. So you can position yourself in the point of view of another one. You can discern in between information. And you can change your point of view. To change our point of views, help us to open our vision, to open our point of view, help us evolve. So in a short sentence would be, don't be a hypocrite liar. Be a hypocrite with integrity. Okay? So if we want to evolve, we have to adapt. So we have to change our point of views to allow ourselves to widen our world. So we have to adapt. Let's go to the information today. The statement today is I am energy of personality. The quote today is amazement and confusion. In the vibration of the third eye chakra, the energetic bipolar waves that allow the beings sleeping and awakening generate two known emotions by those who are in the awakening dawn of consciousness. Amazement by what they are capable of seeing, of understanding, and contemplating now that they have their eyes wide open to a part of the truth. And at the same time, in contrast, the confusion emotion before unfamiliar patterns, before too many data, and lack of preconceptions. Let's go to the alignment. Just a moment. No. Hola. So, sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate in your breathing. I take a deep breath, becoming aware of my entire body. I bring my attention to my feet, going up through the legs, the spine, back, arms and hands, neck and head, and slowly I move each one of the joints in circles. I take a deep breath and I observe in front of me a reflection of my body staring at myself like if it is a mirror. And around on both sides and on the back of this reflection, I see the registry of all those things in which I set my expectations on, and in those that I was able to adapt. I recognize in which things and which people I set my expectations to. And on the other hand, to which places and things, so as people, I had adapted in my life. Connected from the plexus through these expectations and adaptations, I try to feel which are the biggest ones that I had in my life through the physical, the emotional, and the mind, in my body, my soul, and my spirit. I breathe and connect myself to all this memory. I become aware of all these adaptations that I have lived through my life, and I absorb all of them, setting the intention to adapt myself into every new situation in life, leaving behind my own ideas of expectations, willing to adapt. I take a deep breath, allowing myself to incorporate in me all the adaptation that I have lived in my life, allowing me to move forward. And I resound. And all this adaptation constitute the personality, the energy of who I am. I am the energy of my personality. I am the energy of my personality. I am the energy of my personality. I think, I think, I think. Take a deep breath, and each one at its own time starts to come back here and now, stretching and yawning with the body. Thank you, everybody, for being here another day. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.